This tutorial will explain how to complete the timeline assignments for our History of New Mexico course. As you can see, I am in our course in Blackboard. This is the homepage, should look familiar. Normally, you can just follow the link in the Learning module to complete the timeline. If you're not right in the midst of things there, though, and you want to just come back to it, click the Timeline tab. Also, the Timeline tab is where you will find a link to the course timeline in Tiki-Taki, the assignment instructions, this video tutorial, and down here, the links where you will submit both your ID and connection steps for each unit. So you'll want to get to know the timeline tab very well. I'm going to open up the course timeline, click back to the other tab I was in. So I'll be clicking around tabs quite a lot here, just so that you know what I'm doing. The timeline assignment instructions are links to this in the syllabus as well. Please read through this very carefully so that you understand exactly what is expected and required for the course timeline. I won't actually go through that in detail because what I want to show you here are the technical, this is a technical tutorial, not really about the meat of what the assignment is. Hopefully that will be apparent just by reading the instructions. So right here, you can read the learning competencies, and then in this first paragraph, you have the username and password for our course timeline in Tiki-Taki. Here again is a link to the timeline. I also just used one in Blackboard to open that up. This is what it looks like when you get to tikitaki.com, our course timeline. Here's a little introduction that I've given. Click continue or the X. First thing you'll need to do is log in. So click the login image or icon, and then enter the credentials that I've included in the timeline instructions. Click login. This is the page that you'll see first. Scroll down just a little bit, and then right here, click the History of New Mexico. Please don't edit or change settings as you go in here. We're all using the same account. That's why you are also required to submit in Blackboard and not only here on the course timeline, so that I can make sure that I'm seeing exactly what everyone did. Please don't ever edit someone else's work here, I guess is what I'm getting at. Leave it for them to do. Only work on your own things. So the first step for completing the course timeline in each unit is to choose a topic. The topic can be any person, place, event, theme that is relevant to the given unit. So for Unit 2, for example, you could choose Beringia, or the Bering Strait Land Bridge. That's the example I'm going to show you. So you actually can't choose that now. You cannot duplicate topics in the course timeline. So come here first, look around and see what has already been posted. Right now it's blank, but make sure that no one else has posted the topic that you're thinking about. If that is the case and they haven't, go to the admin button here, click that, click create new story, and then in the title box, type your title. So I have Beringia or Bering Strait Land Bridge. Then in this intro box, click by and your name, and then click save. So what you've just done there is claimed your topic. No one else can take that now because you have already claimed it. Now you can go and do your research as outlined in the assignment instructions. You can complete the ID step. As you scroll down, I'm back in the instructions, you read through all of the requirements for the ID step. Please note that this last one, number 4, is really important. You need to focus on analyzing, I should say, the historical significance of the topic that you've chosen. Then you, I'm sorry, I got distracted. So what I'm going to show you here is an example that I created. So before you put anything up on the course timeline, you want to do all the steps, write everything out in a Word document or similar. You will then submit the document to Blackboard, and you will post the information to the course timeline. You have to complete both of those steps in order to get full credit on these timeline assignments. I've already completed all of this just so that I can show you what's going on. You see my text message pop in there. And so this, again, is what you will do once you've claimed your topic. You will complete all of the steps that are outlined in the assignment instructions, including finding a source to support and add to what you are learning about this topic. You will also choose a video or image, depending on which one is most readily available and which one you think best adds to our knowledge of your topic. And then you will write out your ID step. As you can see, I have 3 paragraphs here. I have cited some ideas from the reading in the mile. I've also cited ideas from the source that I've chosen to explain what this is. And then this last paragraph, I use a specific example to explain its historical significance. So once you've done this, you'll go back to the course timeline. You'll go back to your post there. You actually can't edit it by clicking on it. You have to go here to admin. Then when there are more posts, you'll have to choose yours from among the list and then click edit. That's what's open right here. So the first thing you want to do is choose the time range. So as you'll note, mine goes from about 73,000 BCE to 11,000 BCE, which is a huge range of time. And so I don't want to throw our timeline off by having the first entry at 75,000 BCE. So I'm chosen to just arbitrarily put the last date there. If you make choices like that, which might be the case, please make a note of why you chose to place the timeline the entry chronologically the way that you did in your entry. So you'll note on this date picker, I've chosen 11,000 BC. That's actually not enough. The way that Tiki-Taki works, you have to click on the calendar. So I'll just pick January 1st. If you have a person and you actually have their birth date or death date or something, you can click the correct applicable date. But again, for a range like this, I'm being a little bit arbitrary. So I've chosen that. Now I click confirm, and you'll see that it's changed over here. Once I've done that, if I want to just change the end date to not be the same date as the beginning date, I can do that right here in the bar, or I can click the calendar again. I'm just going to do January 31st. Again, a little arbitrary, but that's what I've chosen here. And I have the date set. Again, the key there is to remember to click on the calendar itself. I'm going to choose place for the category because, of course, this is about a place. And then for the link, I'm going to go back over to my worksheet, and I'm going to copy the URL for the outside source that I've found to support this entry and paste it in there. Then I'm going to click Save, just to make sure that my work is saved and I don't lose anything. Next, I'm going to go to Media, and I'm going to click Add New Media. Then I'm going to go back to my worksheet. I'm going to grab the URL for my video. Mine's a video this time around. Again, it can be an image, whatever makes the most sense. And you paste that in the box where it says source. Then mine's a video, so I'm going to choose video type. You don't have to do a thumbnail or a caption. You can if you want, but it's not required. I'm not going to. Click Save, and you'll notice over here there's the thumbnail for my video. Now, the last thing I need to do is, I apologize for the break there. Had to take a phone call that was ringing. So we were at the point where we're going to add our text to the ID step. So just go back over to your worksheet again and copy, of course, the work that you've done. Go back to the course timeline and post it here in the extra info box. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click Save. Let me go back over here to basic info where we were first working. If you post it in here, you can do that, but everything comes out in italics. The spacing doesn't stay in place. It's much more readable if you use extra info for the actual entry of information and you use basic info just to put your name. So again, I've saved that. Now I'm going to minimize the admin box, and I'm going to just show you what this looks like. So you click on, if you didn't see what I did, you click on More on your entry, and this is how you can see what you've done, what it looks like. So over here, I can play my video. Not going to do it for the sake of time, or you would just see your image. You can read through the information that you posted, and then here where it says Find Out More, You click that, and that will take you to the outside source that you have chosen. So there's how that works. So that's it for the ID step. You will note I haven't uploaded the worksheet to Blackboard. That's also a key step. So to do that, you pick the appropriate unit in the timeline tab in Blackboard. And you'll notice the first thing that pops up is for the ID step. And so what you do is you just go down and attach your document there. When you go to attach the connection step, you'll use the same link, but you'll go to this table of contents and you'll click connection step, click OK, and then just do the same thing, upload the connection step. So that should be fairly straightforward. So that's how you submit on Blackboard. You've already submitted here to the timeline. When you're done and you go back on the second day and you're looking around to the various entries that are posted on the timeline, if you find one, or excuse me, if you find that there isn't one that really connects well to your topic, I would rather that you just choose something from the unit that actually does connect well and write about that, rather than write about someone else's timeline step, timeline step that is a pretty tenuous connection. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you have questions about that. For the connection step, it's always a good idea to type everything in that document first, so that you don't lose your work and so that you can still submit it to Blackboard. You're required to do it anyway, might as well do it first. And then add it to your original entry. So even if you're connecting to someone else's entry about the Paleo Indians, for example, if someone had done that, I want to make the connection that the Bering Strait Land Bridge was the pathway by which people that became the Paleo Indians used to migrate to the Western Hemisphere, to the Americas. I don't want to click on their entry, and again, you would have to use the admin box. I don't want to click on their entry and add it to theirs. I want to just add it to mine. So I go back to mine, click Edit, and then I go to Extra Info where I was already working, scroll down to the very bottom, hit Enter twice, and then just write connection and put a colon, and then post that paragraph. So you could say, I'm connecting to this person. You can give their name if you'd like, this person's entry on Paleo Indians, and then you write your paragraph, or you post your paragraph that explains the historical significance of that connection, why it matters. Also, please note that this is actually asking for a connection and not a comparison. So it's easy to compare people and figures that maybe did similar things in history. For example, Billy the Kid, Pancho Villa, both sort of bandit outlaws that we'll be talking about in this class. They didn't necessarily relate directly to each other, though, in terms of their historical actions. So they're a comparison. It would be a comparison to talk about those two. It wouldn't be a connection. A connection would be between Billy the Kid and John Tunstall, for example, because John Tunstall was the one who hired him. Tunstall's murder kind of pushed Billy into the regulators and so on. That's a connection rather than a comparison. So we're looking for connections in this part of the assignment. Hopefully that all makes sense. I'm going to click Save here. And done with the timeline, done with this tutorial. If you have any questions, please ask as soon as you can, and I will do my best to help out with that.